I am joined today by Berlingske Business's CFO of the Year and Executive Vice President of Finance and CFO, Marika Fredriksson. Thank you that you had time to talk today.
My pleasure.
Okay, great. When you started your career, what advice did you get from other ambitious women and men, and what did you learn along the way?
I think actually it starts with the parents. I think it starts with how you grew up and the view on your own ability. So I think it's very important for parents to say that anything is possible. And I think that for women by default, since it's less women in the top, you have to accept that you're different, but you also have to be proud of being different. That is nothing to be ashamed of. So it's a lot about your own self-confidence and that you need help from the beginning to create. So there, I think it's very, very important as a parent to say that to the kids.
Yeah.
And then obviously you find role models in your career. Unfortunately, I've been in the industrial sector, so obviously most of the role models have been men by default. But I've been very, very careful in selecting my bosses, that they didn't view me different than anyone else, that I got a fair opportunity. Then obviously you have to take the opportunity when it comes, men or female.
And do you feel as though you experienced barriers along the way? And if you do, how did you overcome those barriers?
There were probably, but I'm not sure that I was clever enough to realize there were barriers. I just took for granted that I could do anything that I wanted. Yeah. So it boils down in the self-confidence that if there's an opportunity, go for the opportunity. And I've never focused on barriers. I've focused on the opportunities, because if you start focusing on barriers, you become negative by default. So I think it's better to have a positive view on there's an opportunity for me. But I think anyone, again, men or female, you have to plan your career. And even more important for females. So it doesn't come randomly. It's actually something you plan for. Obviously, you make a lot of mistakes along the way, but at least you have a plan. And then you can, within the plan, maneuver. But I've also done mistakes. I've chosen the wrong jobs. That goes by default, I think. That's how you learn.
I'd like to ask if you have any advice for other women or men who would like to grow their careers towards a leadership position, perhaps?
I think, first of all, you have to choose an area that is very clearly defined, where you can say, I've accomplished this and this and this and this. So no one can dispute your contribution. And there, a lot of people is a bit wibbly-wobbly, because you become a good to have. So and if you're clever, if you're good, you can be chosen for any task. But make sure that you choose the task that actually lead you somewhere. So that again comes back to planning. And also, by default, if you enjoy what you're doing, you become good. And then you become visible. So you should never take anything that doesn't kick you off in the morning. You have to enjoy going to work in the morning. That is crucial.
And I think my final question would be, what advice do you have for other people leaders if they would like to promote the agenda of diversity in leadership?
I think, first of all, I look at the base. The more the merrier. So whether it's female or male, if you have a lot, then obviously you have a better selection base. And then also spend time with everyone. If you see that there is certain insecurity and that you have to be perfect. And sorry to say, but females have a higher desire to be perfect. And that's a bottleneck. And then you have to promote differently, because they will not apply for the job because they don't know it 100%. Then you have to tell them, apply. And not mix into too many complicating factors into the selection. But in certain areas, it's harder to find women. That's just by default. And that's why you have to make sure that the women you have apply for jobs that you want to see them in. Yeah. Because by no means, and that I think is a myth. that women and men are different in terms of soft or bringing in new variables into it. That's not correct. We're different and should be different, but when it comes to business, we have a very, very similar view. The good thing is that the ethics of women are extremely high. So from a compliance point of view, and also from a courage point of view, because if they think something is wrong, they will raise it. They will be less political.
Thank you so much that you had time to talk. And we've been sitting here with Executive Vice President of Finance and CFO Marika Fredriksson. A lot to think about there.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.